Hello, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, we want to talk about this coming Sunday night on pay-per-view, HardCORE Justice. I know that I made a video a few weeks back talking about how this pay-per-view was not going to be much of anything, how the ECW rehash was probably not going to work because they weren't going to be able to capture the environment. And that was one of my biggest problems with the show. Also, my big problem with the show was that I felt like TNA was going to have some sort of involvement. I felt like they were going to mix TNA guys and ECW guys. And so it really left a bad taste in my mouth, and it was because of the original invasion that they did. I felt like this was going to be a storyline and not just a one-night-only deal.
Well, when I first heard about it, too, I thought they were going to do like RVD and Abyss at HardCORE Justice.
See, that's what I felt like, too.
Retarded.
And then I heard like Pope and Jeff Hardy and like other matches were going to be involved. And I do know that they did change their plans at the last minute, and I feel like that's why, and I know that True Slayer and a few other people have went on and complained about them throwing this together at the last minute, and I do agree with that, because I do feel like they did rush this, but needless to say, if you ask Doug, I was a big fan of the original ECW. I went out of my way when I didn't have a job or when I didn't have any money to try to get whatever I could together so that I could order an ECW pay-per-view.
Yeah, and the thing is like, for me, it's like with ECW, I mean, people are upset, but the bottom line is we are getting RVD and Jerry Lynn. And to me, that's a match that people have been craving for, that wanted to see one last time, and both guys can still go. They can still go, and so you got to be excited about that, and that's a main event. In my opinion, you could bring back any ECW wrestler that's dead, retired, whatever, and put them in there. RVD and Jerry Lynn are the number one guys that I want to see in the main event. That's the number one match.
This has a ton of appeal, this has a ton of buzz, and this has a high expectation, and I know both guys are aware of that going in, and they're going to do the best that they can to deliver the match that everyone wants to see.
And also the thing is, I hear a lot of people are complaining they haven't been announcing the matches and all this stuff. Look, they're selling the ECW brand as itself, and they've already let you know all the guys that are going to be on the show, and there are going to be some surprises. Me personally, I'm looking forward to the fact that I know there's 2 matches, and the rest of it, I have no idea what's going to happen. So either it's going to be a big excitement, it might be a letdown, but that's the excitement of it. I have no idea what's going to happen, and in the wrestling world, that's very rare.
Absolutely, and there's a couple of reasons why my opinion on this pay-per-view has changed. Number one, Tommy Dreamer does have complete control of this pay-per-view. TNA is just giving the ECW guys a platform to go out there and do what they want to do for one last time. TNA is really having no involvement with this. And if you talk to the people backstage in the company, they would tell you the same thing. It's not me just running my mouth or going off a hearsay. This is a fact. Tommy Dreamer has complete control, and on top of that, they're capitalizing on feuds or matches that the WWE didn't capitalize on at ECW One Night Stand. Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn is a big one. It's a huge one, and I feel like this main event is going to be awesome. Raven and Tommy Dreamer, I feel like, is another feud that really was big, a part of the original ECW, and they're doing that match as well. Now, granted, I don't know how Raven's going to do. He looks like complete shit, and I'm not going to lie. I don't know how good of a match these two are going to be able to pull off, but if anything, I mean, Tommy Dreamer pretty much said that he's going to go out there and do everything he can to make sure this does feel like the original.
There's another thing, and I'm not trying to nitpick on True Slayer or whatever, but he also said the fact that there's going to be no special moments on this show. What? Yeah. RVD Jerry Lynn right there is special, okay? If this is the last ECW show, which Tommy Dreamer is pretty much promising this is it, that's going to be special in itself. The fact that when Sandman was on Impact and the lights went out and that big reaction, you got a little bit of that nostalgia when he leveled people with the Singapore cane and the crowd chanted ECW.
I agree with that
too. It's going to be special. When the Dudleys put somebody through a flaming table, that is going to be special.
All they need to do is come out with tie-dye and glasses.
Tie-dye glasses. And that's the thing that I think when you talk about, if you really want this to feel like ECW, you got to pay Hat Guy to show up if he's not going to show up. You need to bring Hat Guy in. You need to bring, the Dudleys need to have the tie-dye. You need to get whatever music you can legally to be able to distribute to the show.
Because I don't care if every guy has their original music, whatever. Rob Van Dam needs to come out to walk,
Yes.
period.
Yes.
Kilgore, do what you have to do, and I think Bill Alfonso will probably be there too as a surprise.
Well, and that's another thing that's going to be special. If Bill Alfonso is reffing RVD, if you keep on hearing the whistle blowing,
yes.
I mean, that is special.
And
there's a lot of special moments that could happen in this show.
Yes, and I feel like there's a couple of other things that need to happen. Number one, you can't have the glitzy lighting.
No.
You know, obviously you're going to have a great picture quality, but I mean, it needs to have this grungy feel.
Yep.
No pyro, no BS. The set needs to kind of have that similar feel to the original ECW. And I mean, just like the original, like hardcore Justice, and that's it. You know, little brick walls on the side, have them come out the ramp, that's it.
Yeah, and whatever you do, no Mike Tenay on commentary. Please no Mike Tenay on commentary.
For the love of God, dude. Yeah, I think he's way past his time when it comes to commentary. I think a lot of people realize that. I wouldn't mind Taz commentating at all.
No.
I think that's fine.
Not at all.
Call Cyrus the Virus up.
Yeah,
Let him
for
commentate.
sure.
He's freaking awesome.
For sure.
Comedic timing is unbelievable.
Yep, and I mean, you know, and the guy, I mean, you still have Rhino, Sabu, Sandman, the Dudleys, Jerry Lynn, Rob Van Dam, Tommy
This
Dreamer.
is way better than Hardcore Homecoming. And Shane Douglas, you want to wrestle Ric Flair? Sit at home, buddy.
Yeah.
The only reason that people remember you is because you threw down the Eastern Championship Wrestling title. It was, you know, from the NWA and renamed it the Extreme Championship Wrestling belt. Otherwise, people remember you for scratching nails on a chalkboard and, you know, wrestling.
Not just that, you're known as a guy that had potential that never lived up to the hype. That's the bottom line. And you've always been somewhat out of shape. You've tried to compare yourself to Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. You're a complete joke. You can sit at home. The show doesn't depend on you at all.
No.
You're not a draw. Have a nice day.
Absolutely.
Okay, speaking of that, there's a guy right now that I used to love. I used to love this guy, man. Y2J, okay? Jericho, you were my guy. I mean, if a Jericho match was on, I was never missing it. This guy has run his mouth so much, and what's really pissing me off is that he won't admit that he's a corporate sellout. You're a corporate sellout. You sold your soul to the corporation of the WWE, and then you have the nerve to brag about it, to say that that's the best, the last 3 years is the best in your career.
Let's forget about Y2J and The Rock.
Yeah, Y2J
not
and
that
The Rock,
good.
yeah, it wasn't that good, you know. Y2J and Shawn Michaels from back in WrestleMania 19 when you actually were going out there and really delivering in the ring.
Yep.
You know, let's
All
not
his matches
forget
with
about
Stone Cold.
the Benoit feuds, you know,
yeah.
Angle, the Intercontinental title runs. Let's not forget about that. So,
His matches with Van Dam.
how about being the first undisputed champion?
Yeah, and
you
Vengeance
know,
when you beat The Rock and Austin
back
the same
when
night.
the belt had a credibility, you know, when it didn't have Sheamus on it or
Yeah.
Swagger or anything. Yeah, that belt, Batista, yeah. That belt that you carry now or whenever you carried it, it's a joke now. It means nothing. It is a prop.
That's right.
So, for you to say that Ring of Honor, you have better wrestling than any company, including Ring of Honor, for you to say that your top best years in your career were these last 3 years, you've completely lost your mind. You know, and I won't watch your matches for free anymore. I don't even want to bother. You're not entertaining anymore. You half-assed it in the ring, just like your WrestleMania match. You were this close to having a great match, and then all of a sudden you just decide to finish it right then and there, and then go on and build up your next feud or whatever. Your matches suck now. You're a stupid little code breaker.
Yeah.
Listen, the bottom line is Jericho was the man. There is no doubt about it, and I will not deny his ability back in the day, but for him to say that he's still the man and he's still delivering these great matches and he's in the top of his career, he is full of crap. Listen, one of my number one things was to meet Chris Jericho, and we had the opportunity to go down to Pasadena, Texas and meet Chris Jericho. He's not worth the gas, okay? And first of all, you had to buy a Fozzy CD because the CD sucks so bad and it doesn't sell that you actually have to be obligated to buy it to get his autograph and meet him. So I'm done venting about that.
Hold on. How's this TV show doing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's canceled.
Downfall.
No
Yeah,
problem.
that's
No
so are
problem.
the ratings.
Yeah.
Anyways, another thing that's bothering me is people think because TNA is slipping with the writing and that it's not the show that it used to be, that all of a sudden WWE is elevating up to here. Listen, okay? It's not even close. It's like I told Bill the other day. If you put a wrestling ring, if the WWE came to my town, put a wrestling ring in my backyard, I would tell them to pack their shit and get out of my yard. It's not even worth watching for free. Somebody could give me free tickets to a pay-per-view and I won't even go. And this is coming from somebody that had all their DVDs, had the t-shirts, ordered their pay-per-views. And another thing that's really pissing me off lately is the fans are like, hey, well, you know, TNA's ratings aren't really improving, and guess what? Their pay-per-view buy rates suck. Well, at least TNA is somewhat consistent. The WWE has lost half their audience. Half their audience, and you're bragging about that.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of idiot does that?
There's a reason why I don't even mention the WWE in my videos. I still have somewhat of an interest in TNA and seeing that company get better because I know that they still have great professional wrestling from time to time. It's just the writing can overshadow that. So for me, I don't even mention the WWE. As a matter of fact, I was chatting with somebody on Xbox Live the other day and they're like, what do you think of the Nexus thing? I'm like, is that CM Punk? I didn't even know what the hell it was.
Yeah.
That's how little interest I have in the WWE product. And I think that shows you how little interest other people have in the WWE product as well, because the pay-per-view buy rates have slipped big time over the past several years. I mean, they came out with Fatal 4-Way, Hell in the Cell, TLC, all these other different ideas to try to help their pay-per-view business, and it went to the toilet.
But Bill, according to Vince McMahon, everything's going to be okay because Triple H and Undertaker are coming back. And
that just shows you they're relying on past names to pull them out of the ground.
Listen,
it's not going to happen.
It's obvious the reason they had a bad pay-per-view is because of Volcanic Ash.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now?
And he really said that.
Yes,
I mean,
he did.
you're not joking with me. He really said that the reason they had a bad pay-per-view buy was because of Volcanic Ash.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
I bet the UFC would use that same excuse if they had a bad pay-per-view buy.
Unbelievable.
The bottom line is the UFC is kicking your ass.
Yep.
And you just can't handle it. You had to go PG, and that's not even working.
And listen, the thing about TNA is they're not telling their guys and say, you know, guys, look, you know, we're on a new direction, and what I need you guys to do is basically limit the style in the ring. You know, hit a couple of moves. Don't go too crazy. We're going to make the crowd go crazy, you know, every 6 months or so when we have a big pay-per-view. But otherwise, just kind of, you know, put a guy in a headlock, do a couple of wrist holds. We're going to do a couple of stuff off the high-flying stuff. We'll bring in Evan Bourne every now and then, do a little flippy flip. And everything's going to be great, and we're going to have a great match. And TNA is freaking like, look, go out there, deliver an amazing match, and here's your script, and you read it, and you're like, what the hell? What is this? Yeah. And that's what the difference is. Yes. The fact is that TNA has no handcuffs. Yeah. These guys are allowed to go out there and deliver. Watch Beer Money and Motor City Machine Guns. Yes. That is an amazing feud. The feud has been awesome. The matches have been awesome.
Yes.
And then you've got the whole effing show coming up with Kurt Angle and freaking AJ Styles, and it's like a freaking free pay-per-view. And of course, people still have to complain, or it's like, well, they didn't do this right, the promotion's not this right, this right. It's free! Shut up!
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's a good move by TNA to do the free pay-per-view because I feel like that's going to get some interest. Now, my problem is this. TNA is charging, what, $34.95 for their pay-per-views right now?
Yes.
Okay, you're getting your ass kicked. Your pay-per-view buy rates suck.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. Everybody knows that. They've been, you know, fairly consistent, but you haven't grown your company, even with the addition of big names like Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Sting,
Bill,
Kevin Nash.
I told you, they're grizzled veterans, and you need a grizzled veteran for your show.
They're horrible. All right, you've increased your payroll tenfold, and your pay-per-view buy rates and ratings have not gone up.
Yes.
With the ECW invasion, or the ECW angle, or whatever you want to call it, this one-night-only pay-per-view, the ratings have gone up, the interest has gone up, and you aren't paying these guys a tenth of what you're paying the veterans.
Yep.
All right, get the fuck out right now. I don't want to see you, Ric Flair, Mick Foley. I don't give a shit.
Hulk
if you're
Hogan,
over 50,
Kevin Nash,
get off of my TV. If you're in your late 40s and you can't deliver in the ring, get off my TV. Kurt Angle can stay as long as he likes because Kurt Angle can deliver in the ring every single time. Anyways, back to my point. TNA, reduce your pay-per-views from 12 to 7. Yep. That would give you a pay-per-view about every month and a half to 2 months, and drop your pay-per-view price from $34.95 to $24.95. I feel like that would ultimately solve a very big problem that TNA has with their pay-per-view buy rate, because people aren't interested in your shit, so why are they going to pay $34.95 after they just spent $54.95?
Well, the reason they're
on
not
UFC?
interested is because they get everything for free on Impact.
Exactly.
So what would be the point of ordering?
If you talk about memorable moments in TNA this year, you're talking about Impact.
Yeah.
What memorable moments have you seen on pay-per-view? Kurt Angle moonsaulting off a cage?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's really
And
it.
that's
That's all
already
you
happened.
remember. Yeah.
So.
You know, so I mean, ultimately, like we said, you need to out with the old, in with the new. You need to focus on your young guys. AJ Styles right now, I've never heard him that frustrated. As frustrated as I heard him on this radio interview that I saw earlier this week. And also, Samoa Joe just got suspended.
Yep.
So, I mean, granted, like I say, we don't know the whole story. We don't know what happened.
Desmond's totally de-pushed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things we don't like. And that's the thing that pisses me off is it's like if we say anything positive about TNA, you're TNA nut huggers. No, there's things that piss us off about it. But at least they're a pro wrestling company.
Yes.
The WWE is strictly entertainment. And that goes straight to you, Spinnernet, okay? The WWE, listen, I have no respect for you, bro. And the reason I have no respect for you is because you completely sold out just so you can get a big fan base because you try to support the WWE. Listen, the bottom line is, and watch my mouth, the WWE sucks. It is a completely different company than what I grew up on. Their main job is to have storyline television and no wrestling. What kind of wrestling company is that? And then you're going to buy the finale and have crappy wrestling. Money in the Bank sucks my nuts. It's not even close to being a great pay-per-view.
The bottom line is the WWE has sold out their fan base, and if you are a fan of the WWE, whatever. You know, the bottom line is you're not a fan of pro wrestling if you like the WWE, because professional wrestling has taken a back seat in that company from day one. All right, and let's talk a little bit about they in TNA. And this is what I'm concerned about. All right, you need to focus on your young guys, and I'm not sure if this is going to happen, but I have a bad feeling, okay? Eric Bischoff is now the special referee. Abyss comes out and he says that they are upset about this whole ECW angle, that this wasn't a part of their plans. To me, it seems like Hogan and Bischoff are going to turn heel.
Yes.
And I don't want them on my television. And Hulk Hogan, you don't need to come out and endorse the ECW angle and act like now that you have your stamp of approval on it that it's going to be successful. Bro, you can go back to doing Hogan Knows Best for all I give a shit.
But Bill, they're taking it to another level.
Yeah, we hear that every week, man. They were taking it to another level way before you ever came into the company.
Way before you turned down your Victory Road appearance back when they first got their 3-hour pay-per-view.
Yes.
Way before that.
Absolutely. You were working WrestleMania 18 when they were taking it to another level, brother.
Exactly.
But,
so, I guess that about covers it. Definitely watch Hardcore Justice if you want a memorable special pay-per-view and say goodbye to ECW one last time.
And also, they're hiring Atlas Security for that. They're hiring the ring announcer, the referee.
Tommy's going to do whatever he can legally to make this thing feel like ECW. But there's only so much he can do. The WWE completely owns ECW. And then not only that, if you use music, there's the copyright laws. You can't just play whatever you want to play.
Oh, so. Yes. And another thing, people have been complaining because Tommy Dreamer wants to bring back ECW for one last night, and that's a smack in the face to Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon paid all of his crew extra money.
Yeah, he gave him an opportunity that they would never have got.
Look, the bottom line is they should never have brought it back. They should have never have brought it back if they weren't going to be able to make it authentic. And the bottom line is he shit on the ECW fans.
Yep.
He shit on their legacy. And it was all because Batista and Big Show got in the ring in the Hammerstein Ballroom and the fans crapped all over it because they know those two guys wouldn't have a good match if their freaking life depended on it.
And listen, the thing is like, you could literally put Mean Gene in the ring during ECW and him sing Tutti Frutti, and that is basically the equivalent of what happened to the ECW brand that Vince McMahon bought.
Exactly.
He completely destroyed it. It didn't represent anything what the original ECW was about, and you people have the nerve to defend this guy.
Yeah.
Listen, the ECW brand that he brought in was the final straw that broke the camel's back. Kurt Angle left, he screwed up ECW, me and Bill were out.
Yeah.
And this is the last time that we get to actually chant ECW and feel cool about it because it's an embarrassment now in this pro wrestling industry because of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who's supposedly a genius.
Now chanting ECW makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
You know, it's freaking horrible.
I think of the zombie coming out and the stupid
oily fat guy
jacking off Sandman. That's what I think of when I think of ECW. Now I think of Bobby Lashley winning the title. I think of Test freaking showing up there. I think a Big Show is champion. That thing is a joke.
Yep. And that just shows you.
But Vince
McMahon said, hey, you know what? The ECW hardcore audience, we're bringing back ECW, but we don't need the ECW hardcore audience. We can sell it to our fans that we have now.
And he'll also say, you know what? I don't have to deliver a great show.
No.
Because you're going to buy it because you grew up with it.
He doesn't care about your opinion.
Nothing.
At least Dixie and TNA, I feel like, at least care about your opinion. They've gotten rid of some of the veterans. You know, they've tried to make changes. They've tried to do this ECW.
I mean, honestly, Bill, if you go back to our video when we said the things that they need to fix, we said kill Black Machismo. They killed it, okay?
Yeah.
We said bring back the television title. It's brought back. Not necessarily the way we wanted to.
Get rid of the Legends title.
Get rid of the Legends title.
Yeah.
And and if you're going to have a mid-card title, do the television title. There's things that they've been doing that shows, not necessarily I'm saying they're paying attention to us, but they are trying to improve their product. And that's more than what I can say about the WWE.
The biggest thing for TNA, get a new creative team.
That's
I don't
100%.
care. I don't give a shit if it's Paul Heyman. It doesn't have to be Paul Heyman. It just has to be a couple of people that have a creative mind for this business. They care about the future. You know, that's all I care about is the future of this business. I want to see great matches, and I want to see the company built around young guys that can go in the ring. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. It's really not that complicated.
Not at all.
You know?
Not at all. And you know, I think also it's the time of the athlete now. I think the time of the entertainer and all that, you know, your Kevin Nashes, your Hulk Hogan's, your grizzled veterans, they're done. It's over. It's like, yeah, Tito Ortiz draws, but he's not the best fighter. Chuck Liddell draws, he's not the best fighter. Anderson Silva is the best fighter. And granted, he doesn't have a big character or anything like that, neither does George St. Pierre, but they draw because they're the best.
And my thing is Tito Ortiz can still go in the octagon and have a performance.
Yes.
And compete with the best guys in the world.
Ken Shamrock really can't.
No.
And that's what Kevin Nash is. That's what Hulk Hogan is.
Yes. So,
whatever.
Needless to say, leave your comments, leave your feedback. That's our opinion. Feel free to leave yours. And talk to y'all later.